Hey, what is up, chat? Hopefully you can hear me all right. You guys are doing well. Sorry I'm a little late. Got everything pulled up. Professional stream here, chat. All right, I see first one in today was Jerry, who typed before I had, well, I actually technically, so I had Stream Ninja loaded, but apparently the source hadn't activated. So it, sadly, it missed his chat, which I'm very upset about. So I can't highlight it. But after him, we get, oh, wait, I gotta play clip.
Welcome, valued customer!
There we go. And unfortunately, I can't hear my stream clips because I forgot to swap out the monitor thing in OBS. Yeah. Anyway, also let me know if the music's too loud, guys. I keep messing with the audio. Anyway, so after him, we got Patty Quinn in. All right. See, realized it was second. How you doing, Patty Quinn?
The more the magicer.
And we got Fractured Filter in here. How you doing, Fractured? He's already getting in the spirit for the game. Saying, "What's up, bigots?" How you doing, Fractured?
Welcome, valued customer!
There's Jerry. Here for the fun. I hear you, awesome. Professional? Yeah. Well, I'm joking, of course. Doing great. Nice. Glad to hear it, Patty. I'm also good. Alright, let's let the people know we're live. Because, like I said, I definitely was late for important reasons and not because I lost track of time watching SpongeBob. So, and while we do that, let me pull up today's topics, because we got some interesting ones. Patty, what the... I just saw something Patty posted in the Melee Discord. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting to see that today. Okay, well, I'm just gonna post that we're going live after that. Jeez, Patty. Alright, there we go. And yeah, that's good enough. Cool. It's wrestling. Well, yeah, I realized that after I saw the animation. But, like, when it was on the still thumbnail, I thought maybe it was something else. Big booties all the way. Yeah, I guess that works. Alright. So let's get into the first topic. So, pull up the, you know what? First off, we'll talk about, oh, wait, crap, I forgot to let the Twatter people know we're live. What am I doing? This stream is definitely not held together by duct tape. Booty Latina Stephanie Vaquel. Did someone say wrestling? Yeah, Slosh. I saw the GIF that Patty posted in Discord. There we go. Okay, now we can get to the slop. All right. So first off, I figured we'd. You guys really like that? Right. So first off, a bit of a sad, but yeah, just kind of a sad topic here. Two. doing that. All right, here. Okay. All right, chat. So, I'm sure everybody knows good old Stan Lee, the co-creator of many of our favorite Marvel comics, one of the most beloved icons in the comic book industry, who passed away back in 2018. And sadly, as you may have heard, the Los Angeles Comic Con decided to make an AI Stan Lee. Now, you guys probably know I like AI. I don't have a problem with AI in and of itself. But this is just wrong. Well, here, I'll play the clip. Yeah, so not even in death can he find peace, exactly. And if you know anything about what his life was like, he also couldn't find peace there. At least in his final years.
Excelsior!
The original idea for this came about, I worked with Stan when this was Stan Lee's Kamikaze Expo and Stan Lee's Los Angeles Comic Con. We said, wow, if we could create an experience, use an avatar of Stan, it isn't Stan, it's an avatar, as a portal for new fans. If it's the reason they pick up their first Spider-Man book and read it, then we've done something good that day.
Well, first off, the comics are crap at this point. They've been crap for like 20 years. Secondly, did that barely even sounds like Stan Lee.
Excelsior!
That's not what he sounds like.
That is at odds with anything Stan would have said.
Okay, you don't know that. Yeah, that's why I say that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know about his final years. You have a better understanding of AI than most of us are pretty much normies to it. Yeah, there is something to that. But I mean, in this case, it's a disaster. Yeah. You know, it's not... You're going on vacation, Fractured. Nice. Have a good vacation, man. So, what this guy just said... how it would...
And we've done something good that day. This will never say something that is at odds with anything Stan would have said.
It really...
That right there, this will never say anything that is at odds with what Stan would have said. You don't know that. He absolutely does not know that for sure. So the thing about AI is that you do not know what it's going to put out, especially with like the language models. There is no real predicting that it's going to say this or that. I mean, you can prompt it and you have a general expectation, but there is nothing that says that there's nothing keeping this AI from just spitting out something completely out of left field. Because that's how AI works. It's heavily randomized.
Really makes my day to share my passion for Marvel with all of you.
There were two major technology companies. One is...
Man, that just doesn't even sound like him. Where's the enthusiasm?
Proto-Hologram, which builds the box, which is the vehicle to convey it. The second was Hyperreal. We worked with them to take everything we could get, Stan's con appearances, the panels he did at LA Comic Con, his red carpet appearances, all of that to get fed in to sort of create the vocabulary. And then that's powered by an AI. How would you like to be remembered by fans?
I'd love to be remembered as a guy who helped bring people together through the power of storytelling and imagination.
Just doesn't sound like him. He has like no emotion. There's like no emotion to that delivery. Still found it jarring and ghoulish when they deepfaked Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher for Rogue One. This is just another level yet. But wasn't Carrie Fisher still alive with Rogue One? Oh wait, yeah, because that was a prequel, so she would have been younger. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of back and forth on something like that, because I get it. You know, you need the characters, and you want it to at least be believable, you know? But, yeah. But, I mean, this is just, yeah, like you said, this is another level entirely. The Cushing one would have been better if they obscured his face, and Shadows, the Carrie one was outright bad. Yeah, well, I didn't see it, The only Disney Star Wars I saw was Episode 7, so like the first one that they put out, and then that's it. But yeah, this is way worse on so many levels. Hey, Wingus, how you doing, man?
The more the magicer.
They did the exact same thing with Ian Holm and Alien Romulus, and touched up Holm's face in somewhat Romulus. Okay, I haven't seen that, so in the home release. Well, yeah. So if you guys remember Tron Legacy, they did that with Jeff Bridges. For Clue, they did like a CGI fake young Jeff Bridges. It was going back is a little uncanny, but when I first saw it, I didn't even question it. I just say recast if you want to, but the deep fake stuff, I just dislike. Yeah, I kind of understand it. I don't know. I don't know that I'm completely against like the deepfake thing, or you know, like character continuity, but yeah, I do kind of get it. But like, this is not what Stan sounded like. That's part of the problem, is that they just did not get it right.
Together through the power of storytelling and imagination.
Like, he wouldn't say that. He'd say it like, I want to be remembered for telling. I want to be remembered for bringing people together through the power of storytelling and imagination. You know, he put a lot of like emphasis on his words. This AI doesn't do that at all.
What are your plans for the future?
I mean, we all know Stan loved to go to cons. He loved to get out in public. He loved to talk to the fans. If we can take this and have it be a similar type of experience to spark the same kind of creativity that he did, love of storytelling, love of the characters, then yeah, we'll make it available wherever it wants to go.
That was painful. That was painful. Anti-aging AI is cool for sure, but this is purely synthetic. Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Think of the same on AI guitars, like that's not how a guitar sounds like. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I know you know a lot more about music than I do, Jerry. So that makes sense that you'd see it more than I would. Digital Domain did Clue. They also did Brad Pitt and Benjamin Button. Benjamin Button. Industrial Light and Magic did Cushing and Carey for Rogue One. Interesting. Yeah, I never saw Rogue One or Benjamin Button. I only know Benjamin Button for all the jokes. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with Digital Domain. This guy is just seeing dollars. Exactly. Exactly. And we're going to make this even more painful. There's one more clip, and I want you to... I'm going to be saying some very, very not politically correct things here with this clip. Yes, there's no actual recording.
The characters had many iterations over the years.
You can barely hear what's going on anyway, but...
And just seeing how you could really interact with it, ask you really cool questions, and it give you really tailored questions to you was really dope.
Thor, the Norse god of summer, is its rightful wielder. Fantastic
Here we go.
query, Adam.
Okay, there's no way on Earth that Stan Lee would ever say the words "fantastic query." I mean, can you imagine him saying that? No, he would have said something like, "Well, that's a great question." He wouldn't say query. He was a New Yorker. They were a lower-end effects house hired by Disney for Tron Legacy. They're okay, but you can see the difference in their de-aging work compared to ILM's. Okay, I gotcha. Man, Tron Legacy. Now that was a good-looking movie, though. Fantastic query. That's so yeah, exactly. I mean, it sounds like it's almost intentionally AI. Keeping it topical, they did the de-aging to a bunch of people in the MCU too. Michael Douglas, Robert Downey Jr., Sam Jackson, etc. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Well, I never saw the Ant-Man movies, so not sure. So I never saw the Michael Douglas one, but yeah, Robert Downey Jr. in was it Civil War, something like that. Sam Jackson. I never saw Captain Marvel, but yeah, I know they did it. It's pretty looking, yeah, decent story, yeah, yeah, and I'm really disappointed, and yeah, I'm really disappointed with the new Tron Ares because they're not continuing the story of Sam Flynn and Quora. They just threw in Jared Leto, and it doesn't even look like the old Tron Legacy did. It looks very bland and generic. Legacy looked great in the movie theater before I took the big dump dive. Yeah. Yeah, and Tron Ares just does not look as beautiful as the first movie. Not the first movie, as Tron Legacy did. I'm from New York, and in fact, we don't say that. Well, thank you, Patty. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, see, New Yorkers... Yeah, New Yorkers don't talk like that.
I was always busy, but I did meet him because I was always busy, but I did tell him that thank you. I never got a
So,
chance.
Miles Morales here.
I never got a chance to meet him because I was always busy, but I did tell him that thank you for what he's done to help me, and I'm able to keep the legacy going by him through the Spider-Man, which he created, and other characters such as Deadpool, which I dress up as.
You thanked a computer. So, elderly Miles Morales here wanted to thank a computer made by someone who had nothing to do with Stan Lee. And he's not even thanking him for the great stories. He's talking about playing dress up. Like, I'm not someone who likes to say, fake fans or whatever, but I'm, I think comic books really should have been gatekept. It was a mistake to let normies in. Instead, Sam is replaced by a diverse Asian CEO of NCOM. Oh, good God. Wait, isn't the CEO of NCOM always like a... NCOM is the company that, not Tron, but like the guy who is Tron, and the guy who's like virtual equivalent is Tron. That's his company, isn't it? Well, I guess the Flynn's company, isn't it? NCOM? Because the CEO of NCOM in Tron Legacy was, oh, what's his name? The guy played Scarecrow in Batman Begins. Cillian Murphy. And so aren't the CEOs always the bad guys? One of my Twitch chatters is sad that Daft Punk isn't doing the new Tron soundtrack. Yeah, Daft Punk retired, didn't they? So I guess it makes sense. And then the lesbian witch from Acolyte is one of the hunters in Ares along with Leto. Oh, great. That screen probably looked better in real life, though. Yeah, it probably does. It probably does look a little better, but mostly I'm focused on, like, the way he's talking. Yeah, you enjoyed elderly Miles Morales here. Nine Inch Nails is doing the Ares soundtrack. Okay, interesting. I'm not too familiar with Nine Inch Nails. I know they were really big back in the day. I don't know if they're still good or not. Waiting on the fans who started crying, talking to him. Well, you're not going to get that, but you're definitely going to get some people who were very annoying. Flynn's company, yeah, Sam was supposed to take over, but apparently this new person took over in the time between the movies. Makes sense. Oh, so this person isn't even related to the previous guys. Well, NCOM was supposed to be a free open source thing, according to Kevin, and Sam was supposed to take it over. Yeah, that makes sense. And then, Alan, I think is the guy's name, who's, Tron. It's confusing because they're not even alter egos. They're, like, different characters, but they're, like, copies of they're, like, virtual copies of the real people. So, like, the guy who's, like, who Tron is a virtual copy of Alan, I think. He was trying to run the company or something. Yeah, Dillinger was trying to monetize it. Yeah, yeah, that's the CEO. And Evan Peters is playing Dillinger's grandson. Murphy was Dillinger's son. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Basically V2. Basically VTubers. Yeah. Still haven't seen the original Tron. Fractured. You're not alone. You're not alone. I've had a copy of the original Tron pretty much ever since I saw the. Ever since I saw Tron Legacy, so around like 2010 or so, and I just never watched it. I just never got around to it. So.
Which I dress up as.
You were Tron Weeb when Legacy came out? Oh yeah, me too. It was beautiful.
Great question, Dawson.
What?
Great question.
Being so tied to the civil rights movement.
Oh, for God's sake.
Great question.
That's what you asked?
Finding the hero in the world around you. And as always,
this is all Stanley's thoughts. Like they're never going to say anything that he never said. So getting to know.
The original was fun, has a lot ahead of its time, quirk and charm. Nice, yeah. Yeah, it was, I know it was the first movie to use, or not, was it the first movie? I don't know, I know that it did like some revolutionary, it was kind of revolutionary with the visual effects, because like they went in and hand painted all the special effects on the film cells. Breaking TikTok to ban the juice emote. Are they, Jerry, are they actually, or is this just a joke? Because I can't tell anymore. What was the question? Somebody was asking about how, it was like, how is, you know what, I'll just rewind.
Being so tied to the civil rights movement.
I got cut off, but it's something about, I think it's like, how do you feel about being so tied to the civil rights movement? And it's like, dude, really? Great question. LOL, he'd have probably said, nah, F you next. Yeah. Now, F you next. Civil rights stuff, yeah. Ask Stan if true lives matter. Yeah, I'm gonna say he probably wouldn't care. Well, I mean, considering how old he was, he'd probably be like, what? I don't know what that is. Next question. Wrong, bitch. Yeah. I hate all these people in this video. Yeah, you're not the only one. You're not the only one.
around you. And as always,
this is all Stanley's thoughts. Like they're never going to say anything.
So this is not Stan Lee's thoughts. It's basically prompted by a bunch of people who said, yeah, this is probably what he would sound like if he were corporate brand friendly. And so we'll just tell it to, you know, say these kinds of things. So no, it's not Stan's thoughts.
That he never said. So getting to know that he thought that Spider-Man would save the world, it was amazing to know.
So people like this, and you can tell again from her shirt here that she's not like a comic book fan or anything necessarily. She's just like a new Marvel movie soy slop fan. And she thinks that what this AI spat out is somehow exactly what Stan Lee thought, even though it's literally just making up crap. Yeah, exactly, Fracture. The man is dead. You can't get his actual thoughts because of that, you dumb vapid clone.
And it made me so happy.
Okay, pictures, pictures, pictures.
Would you though, chat? Would you hit that?
It's very surreal. I think there is an element of wariness around it. Obviously, it's posthumous, so it's a bit like, does it feel a little bit icky? But it does feel like it's done really well, and obviously the whole experience is done in collaboration with the Stan Lee Foundation and his family and approval and all that.
His family's approval means nothing. His daughter was part of why he was treated so badly in his final years. They stand, if you see a turtle in the desert on his shell, do you flip it over? What? I don't get it. Wingus. No, Wingus would not hit that.
Obviously, there's always moral questions behind that, but I think as an experience, it's quite impressive.
Yeah, so that's the end of that. That's the end of them desecrating Stan Lee. And yeah, so this is just a disgusting cash grab, as always. But, you know, let Stan Lee rest, please. That guy deserved so much better, and he still deserves so much better. It's a Blade Runner reference. Oh, okay, I gotcha. I've never seen either one. That's why. That's probably why I didn't get it. Well, that's the end of the AI Stan Lee situation. You ask a synthetic person that question to test their humanity. Really? Does it work? I don't know what is it about synthetic people that tells them, that keeps them from saying they would flip the... I assume the right answer is yes. But what is it about synthetic people that makes them say no? Alright. So, next up, we got an update on the Amazon situation. So, if you remember, a while back, we talked about how Amazon is ending their Prime benefits. So, well, they're ending their shared Prime benefits. Sorry. So if you shared Prime shipping, basically, with a family member, so like, for example, I got it through my parents for a long time, they're ending that, and I think they have ended that. I think October 1st was when it was supposed to end. But on a related front, there is an update on Amazon here.
All right.
I know, Fox Business, but just bear with me, chat. It's gonna feel good. It's a feel good clip. In the movie, they ask it to gauge their response to see if they're broken or not. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I've never seen it, so.
All right, folks, just then, Amazon paying out a historic settlement. The company agreeing to pay $2.5 billion this to settle with the Federal Trade Commission over allegations that it tricked customers into signing up for Prime, and it made it hard for them to cancel. Now, Amazon...
So you hear that, chat? Now, this is probably just a drop in the bucket for Amazon. In fact, you know what? Why don't we look up what Amazon... annual net profit. Amazon net income. Okay, well that doesn't help me at all. Total revenue, gross profit, operating expense. Yeah, so they make hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. So yeah, you look here, pre-tax income. So yeah, so net. I think this is probably the number we want to look at here. Net income for common stockholders. So that would be right around $60 million a year. So this is a drop in the bucket for them, you know, $2.5 billion. But it's still nice to see. You might like them. The first Blade Runner is really good. The second is okay. Depends on if you like cyberpunk dystopian stuff, though. Kinda. I like it if it has a happy ending, but usually it doesn't. You have Prime for your dad and you mostly for the streaming, yeah. Yeah, I don't even care about the streaming. I literally only care about the shipping. And I mean, for most things you can wait a couple days, so. Yeah, it's still nice to see them getting something.
Amazon did issue a statement saying their executives have always followed the law, and a settlement allows for the company to move forward. Joining me now, Chairman of the Federal Trade Commission.
And of course, they just give the usual corporate speak. No surprise there. And do keep in mind, this is a settlement, so it's not a... it's not a judgment. In other words, they basically came to an agreement with the FTC so that they didn't have to go to trial.
Commissioner Andrew Ferguson. First of all, Commissioner, congratulations. $2.5 billion. Why did this happen at this particular moment?
Well, look, this is a massive historical victory delivered for the American people thanks to President Trump. A lot of us are Prime users. I'm a Prime user, and you got to sign up for Prime, and if you don't want Prime anymore, you got to cancel. And Congress has a law that says you got to make it clear and easy to sign up, and you got to make it simple to cancel. And what we found after years of investigation was that Amazon was tricking people into signing up, and then they were making it very, very hard to cancel. And so
sounds like a gym membership, right? This is basically one of the things that I'm not sure about Amazon specifically, but this is something that, for instance, Louis Rossmann has been complaining about constantly. Is all these companies that make it really easy to sign up for something, but then make it nearly impossible to cancel. So that's why that's the reason that the FTC went after Amazon here, is that they made it deceptively difficult to cancel Amazon Prime. If you know, for instance, if you signed up for like a free trial or something and then you wanted to cancel at the end of it, you couldn't do that.
And so a lot of consumers were paying for Prime and didn't realize it, or they were trying to cancel their Prime and weren't able to get it. And this cost consumers, by our initial estimate and what we told the court, $1 billion. And so today we have gotten for the American people all of the money that was taken from their pockets. President Trump is making sure they're going to get it back. We got more than we even originally told the judge we needed. $1.5 billion going back to consumers, and $1 billion in civil penalties to make sure that Amazon knows you can't get away with this kind of conduct again. And equally important, we have a consent decree, a judicially enforceable consent decree, enforceable with contempt sanctions, that says all of the stuff we said you were doing, that you were doing illegally, you can't do it anymore. You have to provide clear and conspicuous terms when people sign up so that they are actually consenting to Prime, and you got to make it simple to cancel Prime. This is an
So, you know, that's good. I have no idea if the enforcement will be meaningful in any way. I have very little faith in the government, regardless of who's in office. But part of what they've said here is good. Now, if you were paying attention, he said 1.5 billion goes back to customers, and then another 1 billion is a civil penalty. So basically, the government's going to get $1 billion out of Amazon for nothing. But you know, it's nice to see Amazon have to pay. But that other 1.5 billion, that's the important part here. So if you have Amazon Prime, if you've had it for a while, the way this usually works is you will probably get an email at some point telling you about this thing, you know, about the settlement. It should come from either Amazon or some law firm or something tied to Amazon. And basically, you'll go, you'll sign up on some webpage, and you'll say, you know, I had Amazon Prime for these dates. Give us some information, and you'll probably get like $5 in a check at some point. So, yeah, if you want a free $5, make sure you keep an eye out for that email, because that's typically how these settlements work. So, yeah, but it is good. It's good that it's not just a quote-unquote civil penalty. I'm glad that they are actually giving money back to customers.
Unbelievable victory for the American people.
Their statement, there wasn't a lot of contrition there. There wasn't, it's sort of like, it was a nuisance lawsuit. We got rid of it. We're moving on.
Actually, I really like what the black guy in the purple suit said here, because he's right on. They're treating it like a nuisance. They're not. They clearly aren't acting like they did anything wrong or admitting any kind of fault. It seems like they simply believe this is the cost of doing business. Because, like I showed you earlier, this is a drop in the bucket for them. It's symbolic, but on a large scale, it does not affect Amazon in any meaningful way.
People watching, it kind of makes everyone angry. No one likes to be tricked, particularly by one of the richest companies that's ever existed. I did read a piece from the American Economic Liberties Project that suggested, hey, forget about the game of whack-a-mole. Maybe the commission should go ahead and really protect people from these deceptive subscription schemes by reissuing the click-to-cancel rule today. Is that something, can you go further? Can we make sure that this doesn't happen anymore?
Now that sounds like a good rule, right? It's like in South Park with the Exxon guy and saying, we're sorry, just as empty. It wasn't Exxon, it was BP, I think. But yeah, it was the BP CEO going, we're sorry, while he was like, lying on a fur rug in his office. Oh yeah, such a large part of cronyism, like the first admin gives huge deals, the next admin finds them for pennies on the dollar. Yeah, exactly. And then they act like they're two different parties, but they're not. They're the same party. They just pretend to be different. So FTC, click to cancel. Cool, so let's take a quick look at what that was. So click to cancel was supposed to make it as easy to cancel enrollment for something as it was to sign up. Right, now that's a great rule, in my opinion, anyway.
And rather than having these big companies write a check and then act like they did nothing wrong.
Yeah, so...
See, that yeah, I'm kind of starting to like this guy, chat. I like this guy in the purple suit here.
And rather than having these big companies write a check and then act like they did nothing wrong.
Yeah, so look, we're in litigation against a bunch of big companies on this exact issue. I've taken Uber to court on this issue. I've taken LA Fitness to court on this issue. This is a major priority of mine. The previous administration issued a click-to-cancel rule. They made a lot of really stupid mistakes in setting up the rule. It was vacated by a court of appeals in the middle of the country. We are looking about how to address that issue and whether to take up another rulemaking. If we do it, we're going to make sure we get it right, unlike the Biden folks did.
So he's basically saying, yeah, we can't do it. And to some degree, I understand if a court threw it out, then yeah, I guess you can't have the rule the way it was. But it's a rule that needs to be in place, and I love how instead of, saying we're going to do our best to bring this back, or even just saying, we need an act of Congress to do this, he just uses it to try and score political points. And yes, Joe Biden was not a good president, but there's really no reason to just throw his name out here. It's completely meaningless. He's just doing it to score political points.
But in the interim, look, Congress passed this law. Congress says what the law is. They told us they want us to protect consumers from this. And so we have taken some of the biggest companies in America to court, and we're not backing down. This has been one of my biggest priorities since becoming chairman in January, and it's going to continue to be.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's great news. It's historic. We want to see you keep going. So we're rooting. We're rooting for you because you're rooting for us. Commissioner Ferguson, thank you very much and congratulations.
Thanks.
So a little bit of good news there, at least. Especially if you're a longtime Prime user, you probably will be getting a couple of bucks out of this. So, keep an eye out for that. I know sometimes those emails also tend to go to spam, so something to keep in mind. And then there's another thing about Amazon. You might remember last time we talked a bit about the Amazon Basics program. So there's a bit of a breakdown here that I thought was interesting.
In this video, I'm going to show you something that will make you never trust Amazon again. But first, answer this. Have you ever bought an Amazon Basics product thinking you got a great deal? Now, if you said yes, you've been played. And I'm not talking about...
And that is true. Amazon Basics products are not like super high quality. We tend to assume they are because, you know, they have the Amazon name and Amazon's such a big company, and we assume, you know, a big company, big name, they must be reliable. But that's not necessarily the case, as this guy explains.
Talking about bad quality or fake reviews, I'm talking about something much darker. Amazon is running a psychological operation so sophisticated that they're willing to lose millions of dollars just to control what you buy and destroy.
As soon as you said it was a psyop, I was hooked, by the way. You know how much I love talking about psyops.
Destroy entire businesses in the process. And once you see how deep this goes, you may never trust Amazon's search results again. Stay with me for the next 12 minutes, because what I'm about to reveal will save you hundreds of dollars and maybe even your business. Now here's what everyone gets wrong about Amazon Basics. Shoppers think it's just Amazon making cheap alternatives to save money. Sellers think it's normal competition that they can fight with better products or lower prices. But none of that is true. Most Amazon Basics products have razor-thin margins. Some actually lose money. So why would the world's smartest company keep pumping out thousands of products that barely turn a profit?
So that is actually a really interesting thing, right? Because until now, I used to think that Amazon took these products, basically that they stole these products, well, not stole, but basically they went to the suppliers of the original sellers for these products and just made their basics and made huge margins off of them. But if they don't, that is actually something rather questionable. Amazon Basics are low-quality rip-offs, but as introductory products to something new, they usually get the job done. Yep. Cornering the market, starving competition, and then upping the price. Yeah, that's part of it. But this guy goes into something even weirder.
And the answer is going to blow your mind. But first, let me just show you something. I'm searching for USB cable right now, and look what comes up first. Amazon Basics. It's not the highest rated, it's not the cheapest, but somehow it's magically at the top. Now watch this. I'll search for toilet paper. Amazon Basics again. Batteries,
I didn't even know Amazon Basics sold toilet paper.
Amazon Basics. Office chairs, you guessed it. Now if you're a shopper, you're being steered towards whatever Amazon wants you to buy. And if you're a seller, you're watching your sales disappear in real time. And this isn't an accident. Amazon Basics is everywhere, and they have over 590,000 distinct products listed across all categories. Let me tell you about my friend Carol. 3 years ago, she had a thriving business selling emu oil supplements on Amazon FBA. She was making 7 figures a year. She put in the work, built genuine reviews, and created a real brand. But then Amazon noticed. Within 90 days of Amazon launching their own emu oil, priced 30% lower, Carol's business collapsed. Not because her product was bad, not because she was overpriced, but because Amazon rigged the game.
Yep. So that is what Amazon does with Amazon Basics, is that they find products that sellers are, selling, and because they can see so much of what the seller does with that, or how the seller gets that product and how they get it onto the market, Amazon will go straight to their supplier or whatever, and then they'll just rebrand whatever that seller was selling as their own product and sell that. So it's a very shady tactic that they do for Amazon Basics.
And they didn't just compete with her, they buried her. Amazon put their knockoff product right inside her own listing. Now put yourself in her shoes. You're trying to sell your product, and your biggest competitor gets to advertise right on your page. Carol's revenue dropped 50% practically overnight. But here's what's really twisted. Amazon's emu oil isn't even better. Similar ingredients, worse packaging, no customer service, but it doesn't matter because
Yep. Yeah, that all checks out. Like I said, they usually use the same suppliers a lot of the time. They just white private label, whatever it is. Worse packaging, no customer service. That's about standard.
Amazon doesn't play fair. Now hold that thought, because Carol's story isn't unique. It's systematic. When Peak Design created one of the best-selling sling bags on Amazon, a $100 premium product, Amazon didn't just copy it, they photocopied it. They copied the name, they copied the look, they copied the layout. The only difference, Amazon used cheap plastic instead of aluminum, removed the lifetime warranty, and then charged half the price. Now the plagiarism was so blatant that Peak Design made a viral video just to call Amazon out. And you know what Amazon did? They quietly changed the name and kept on selling. This is happening to hundreds of brands every month.
Like, that is incredibly shady. So not only did they just rip off the product, but this is like a designed, you know, bag and all that. So they not only just ripped off the like a basic product, they ripped off the entire design.
But wait, it gets even worse. If you think that the Amazon brand means high quality, think again. In 2021, the Consumer Product Safety Commission forced Amazon to recall thousands of their own mattresses because they violated federal fire safety standards. And let that sink in for a minute. Mattresses you sleep on every night, sold under Amazon's own brand, could literally burn your house down. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. A man in Ohio ended up in the hospital after his chair caught fire while he was sleeping. And the cause? A melted Amazon Basics USB cord. An 8-year-old girl was heating up macaroni and cheese when her Amazon Basics microwave caught fire in the kitchen. Fire shot out of an Amazon Basics surge protector while a baby slept in the next room.
Have you guys ever heard of any of these stories even? Because I hadn't even heard about this. Like, I already am not the biggest fan of Amazon Basics, but I didn't realize that Amazon Basics products were that bad. That they were actually, like, you know, causing fires. This is like that Samsung Galaxy Note levels of bad. You know, you remember the Galaxy Note, I think it was 8 with the exploding battery. That phone was literally banned from airplanes, by the way. Like, this is actually terrifying. And this is the kind of thing that Amazon, you know, big, reputable, online retailer, Amazon, is selling. It's selling stuff that could literally kill your children. Yeah. Yeah, first time I'm hearing of some of these. Also never really knew of Amazon Basics. Okay, fair enough. But I mean, it's usually Amazon Basics is usually the top listing when you search for something on Amazon. Because, you know, because of their monopolistic position, they can push their own stuff to the top. Honestly, not before now. I know most of it is China products. Yeah, I think in a lot of cases, Amazon just rebrands cheap Chinese junk. And then sells it as Amazon Basics. Yeah, you remember the Galaxy Note 8 situation, yep. Yeah, the batteries are exploding. And yeah, they literally banned them from airplanes.
CNN found over 1,500 reviews describing 70 different Amazon Basics items that exploded, caught fire, or caused electrical malfunctions. And here's the truly evil part. Many of those products stayed at the top of the Amazon search results long after customers raised red flags and left negative reviews. And remember, these aren't shady third-party knockoffs from China. These are Amazon's own branded products pushed to the top of the search results with their seal of approval. Which means that when you see the Amazon Basics badge, you're not just looking at a bargain. You might be looking at something that's cheaper for a reason.
Yeah, so Amazon Basics is the Western equivalent of Temu? Dude, Amazon might as well be the Western equivalent of Temu. So, the stuff on Amazon nowadays, especially if you're buying, like generic types of products, so the stuff that tends to get turned into Amazon Basics, you're basically paying for the same cheap Chinese garbage that's on Temu or AliExpress, but it's just more expensive and with faster shipping. So you can literally find a lot of similar stuff on Temu and Shine, I think, and AliExpress. And it'll be cheaper, but the shipping will just be worse because you're buying it directly from China instead of, you know, having it shipped from an Amazon warehouse. That is why you see all those weird product listings. So outside of Amazon Basics, when you see weird product listings on Amazon with unpronounceable names for the brand, that's what that is. You don't believe me, Slosh? I mean, just go on Amazon and you'll see all the unpronounceable names. Temu actually can have good products. Like Amazon, it has actual manufacturers with product pages. Yeah, I'm not saying it can't. I mean, Amazon does too. But I'm saying that these things usually are crowded with Chinese garbage. Like Baofeng radios. I'm not familiar with those. Best source for them at the moment is Temu. Okay, that's interesting.
They cut corners on safety and quality. Now, to be fair, most Amazon Basics products are fine, and I'm not here to cherry pick only the bad ones. But remember, Amazon Basics isn't even a huge profit center for Amazon. They're not making piles of money off of these.
The guy saying that they're Amazon homemade products. Yeah, no, Amazon doesn't typically manufacture these products. They just white label them.
Knockoffs. So here's the million-dollar question. Why would the world's smartest company keep pumping out products that barely break even? And the answer might make you angry. Because Amazon Basics isn't the business, it's the weapon. And let me show you exactly how this works. By the way,
so I found that to be a really interesting idea, that Amazon Basics isn't the end goal here, that they're actually using Amazon Basics for something else. It's like we're getting into real conspiracy theory territory here, and I love my conspiracy theories, especially when they're true.
wait, if you're looking to start selling online without Amazon, make sure you sign up for my free 6-day e-commerce mini course below. It's 100% free, and I guarantee you'll learn a lot. Right now, I want you to think about how you use Amazon. Whether you're shopping or selling, everything starts with the search results. Now, as a shopper, you type in USB cable or vitamins or headphones, and what do you see first? Amazon's product, always. As a seller, you watch your carefully optimized listings get pushed down by products that somehow magically appear at the top of nowhere. It's not about quality or even the lowest price. It is pure manipulation. Amazon controls the search results. They decide who gets those little badges like Amazon's Choice or Overall Pick. And it sounds neutral, almost democratic, except Amazon writes the criteria, which means they can give themselves awards whenever they want.
Where's that Obama giving a medal to Obama meme? Here we go. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Is there? No. Whatever. We'll just open this image here. There we go. So this is what Amazon is doing, apparently.
I tested this myself yesterday. I was shopping for a micro SD card for my Nintendo Switch. The Amazon Basics version was #1, even though the SanDisk version was 2 spots below it, and it had faster speeds and better reviews at the same price.
Yeah, so isn't that interesting? Amazon recommends their crappy Amazon Basics SD card over a much better SanDisk card. Now, why would that be? Surely it's not Amazon engaging in anti-competitive behavior.
How does this happen? Well, it's simple. Amazon doesn't want you to find the better product. They want you to find their product, and here's the psychological trick. When you see something at the top with a badge next to it, your brain assumes that it's the best choice. You don't scroll down, you don't compare, you just click buy. Most people never realize that they're not seeing the best deals. But again, if Basics isn't making Amazon piles of money, why are they purposely manipulating the search results? And the answer is hiding in plain sight. And if you do a little bit of digging, everything starts to click. Look at Amazon's latest earnings report. Everyone thinks their biggest profit center is retail, but it's not. Their biggest moneymaker is advertising.
Now that's kind of interesting to me because I actually was under the impression that Amazon's biggest revenue center was cloud services, so AWS. I didn't realize that it was actually advertising as opposed to cloud services. Although I'm wondering if maybe he misread what's going on here. So it's possible that what he's saying, he misread Amazon's fastest growing segment and misunderstood that to mean that advertising is their biggest segment. Because I'm fairly certain that cloud services are their biggest segment.
Amazon just made $15.7 billion from advertising in a single quarter, and that is a 23% increase year over year. And to put that in perspective, that is more than what YouTube makes and more than almost any ad platform in the world. And here's the genius evil move. Amazon Basics doesn't need to make money because it forces everyone else to pay Amazon more. So picture this, you're selling phone cables. You work your way to the top of the search results, and then Amazon launches their own cable, and boom, you're invisible. Now you have two choices, disappear or pay Amazon for ads to get back to where you were. Either way, Amazon wins. And this is...
So isn't that an interesting scam? So it's not just about pushing their products to you over, you know, other legitimate products. It's actually a whole psyop to force their third-party sellers to buy ads on the Amazon platform. Now that's scummy anti-competitive behavior if I ever heard of it, but who knows if the FTC will even look at that.
And this is why Amazon created Basics. The knockoffs create pressure. They changed the game so that every seller has to spend more on ads just to stay visible. I've seen Amazon seller courses that flat out say sponsored ads aren't optional, they're required. So just think about that. You're already paying Amazon monthly fees, referral fees, and fulfillment fees. And now you're forced into bidding wars just to be seen. The average Amazon seller now pays nearly 60% of their revenue in Amazon fees. 60%. Imagine keeping only 40 cents of every dollar you earn while Amazon keeps the rest. Meanwhile, Amazon's own products don't pay any of these fees. They don't pay for ads. They don't need to make a profit. They can sell for less and still win while you bleed cash. But it gets worse, because this isn't just squeezing sellers, it's actually manipulating shoppers as well. When you search for batteries or cables or supplements, you're not looking at the best products. You're looking at whoever paid Amazon the most for that search result, which almost always results in higher prices.
And that just makes it downright deceptive.
The entire system is rigged, but forcing sellers to pay for ads is just the beginning. Here's the real endgame, and it's bigger than you think. Amazon does not need to profit on a phone cable or a bottle of vitamins. The real money isn't in that single sale. It's in locking everyone into their ecosystem forever. So if you're a shopper, every time you buy Amazon Basics, you're not just buying a product. You're buying into the idea that Amazon is reliable and cheap. That $8 cable convinces you to get Prime. Prime hooks you on free shipping, and before you know it, you're ordering groceries, streaming movies, and buying everything through Amazon. That single cable just made Amazon hundreds of dollars a year from you forever. Now, if you're a seller, by forcing you to depend on their platform and pay their ad fees, they ensure that you can never leave. The more successful you become on Amazon, the more trapped you are. Jeff Bezos said it himself. We want to make money when people use our devices, not when they buy them. And this isn't just about Kindles, it is about everything. Because Amazon doesn't care about the sale, they care about control. And once
So that's pretty much the standard big tech playbook, right? The big corporate playbook is lock you in and force you effectively to depend on them.
you see it that way, Amazon Basics isn't a product line, it is a psychological weapon. So what does that mean for you? As a shopper, it means the choices you see aren't really choices. You think you're picking the best product at the best price, but you're only picking from whatever Amazon decides to show you first. Now tell me if this sounds familiar. I was shopping for hard drives last week, and everything on Amazon was around $100. And I was about to buy one, but I decided to check Google first. And lo and behold, I found the exact same drive for 10% less on Amazon. But it never showed up in Amazon search because they didn't want me to find it. And in fact, I could not find it at all unless I typed the exact product title into Amazon search. Think about that. Amazon was literally hiding their own better deals from me because those deals made them less money.
Now that is really, really scumbag behavior. They're outright hiding listings for no reason other than they want to sell their own crap to you instead. There's no good reason to do that. It's just bad for everybody.
Now, if you're a seller, you already know this pain. Your perfectly good product gets buried the moment Amazon decides to compete in your category. And then they force you to pay them just to be seen again. Whether you're buying or selling, Amazon is making your decisions for you. Now, here's what I want you to do right now. If you're a shopper, before you buy anything else on Amazon, take that product name and search for it on Google. Compare prices, read real reviews from other sites. Do not let Amazon make your purchasing decisions for you. And
oh yeah, and speaking of reviews, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really trust Amazon reviews anymore. It seems like a lot of the time they're just fake. They're full of garbage BS. A lot of times, even what sellers will do, scammier sellers, they'll take a product listing for a product, like they'll buy a listing for someone else for a product that is highly rated, and then they'll change the product entirely, and so then the old good reviews stay, and basically they're selling you a product that looks like it has great reviews even though it's complete garbage. So that's another Amazon scam.
And never assume that Amazon is the cheapest, because it's not. Now, if you're a seller, you gotta stop playing their rigged game. Yes, you might need Amazon for now, but start building your own website. Create your own email list, drive traffic to your own channels, because as long as you're completely dependent on Amazon, you are one algorithm change away from losing everything. So whether you're buying or selling, the choice is the same. You can stay trapped in Amazon's system or take back control. Now that you understand Amazon's secret playbook, make sure you watch this video here on exactly what I would do today in order to break from Amazon.
Yeah, anytime I do look at reviews, just try to sift through, but otherwise I don't trust them. Yeah, no, don't. Like, if you look at individual reviews, like, you have to actually go and read individual reviews, and then you have to determine whether they're real, and whether they're for this specific product, and all that. So, yeah, it's... Amazon has gotten so much worse over the years. And this is just another example of it, unfortunately. Which, I mean, really, they deserve another FTC lawsuit for this kind of anti-competitive behavior. But, you know, that'll never happen. Alright, chat. Alright, so we got... Let's see, we got a couple more topics here. But you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time we got to the topic that you guys came here for. We know why you're here. You're here for EA. You're here for the Electronic Arts topic. Am I right? So chat, you know what? I know there are a lot of people covering this that we could use as a source here, but we're going to use everyone's favorite Japanese singer. You want to know who it is? Yeah, you want to know who we're going to be using as a source today?
We're breaking the law, breaking the world together, throwing out all tenderness. We're breaking the rules. No cause,
like that,
no
chat?
choice, no going back to how it was. No slowing down because we'll keep our heads high. Our fist.
Sergey, hey, you came in just in time for Young, yeah. How you doing, Sergey? Good to see you, man. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
F you, Nightmare. I heard this shit on James's stream. Oh, yes. Yes, you're getting Young Yad. You're getting Young Yad. Oh, man. Yeah, good to see you, Sergey. How you doing, man? How are you recovering, by the way? And I know you've been through some stuff lately.
Welcome, valued customer.
We got the LGBTQ HD TV already. Quick question about probably being laid off by the Saudis. I love that song, The Spray Captain butchered it. Yeah. Yeah, I could probably sing that song better than he does. I mean, I wouldn't sound anything like Kiryu, but... You know, because... Ever since I was a boy, I've always had a high, squeaky voice. But, yeah, I could probably do a better job of singing that song than he does. Oh, QQ means crying, gotcha. Already crying about... Okay, gotcha. So, already crying about probably being laid off by the Saudis, yeah. Also, remember that this guy, at one point, was sponsored by Soylent. He's definitely using a vocal modifier. Well, so what I've heard is that they're auto-tuning him. I have no idea. I don't know what it sounds like when someone is auto-tuned versus not auto-tuned, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, he sounds terrible. And you know what the funny thing is? It shows, yeah. You know what the funny thing is? The Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which right now I think is only on Switch, but it's coming out in a couple months for PC, has an English version of the same song, but they literally got a different voice actor to sing the song, and it sounds way better. Yeah, auto-tune. There's a few different kinds. Yeah. Yeah, I only know the what was that guy's name? T-Pain, I think. I only know of his auto-tune. I don't play the Yakuza games, but man, they took out the multiplayer. Yeah, well, I never bother with multiplayer, so I've never played any of the mainline Yakuza games either. I've always meant to, but auto-tune automatically enhances the length and pitch, makes it sound like he's hitting exact notes. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Didn't seem like they did a great job of it, though. I can see why they got someone else to sing that song. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, it sounds so bad. Yeah, but the Yakuza 0 Director's Cut version does sound a lot better. But, yeah, so this is Young, yeah, talking about the EA buyout. And I figure, let's have a little fun with it. You know, because, why I kept the voices in Japanese. Yeah, that makes sense. I really wish that the series had a good English dub. You know, like the Judgment games, which are kind of a spin-off set in the same universe. They have a phenomenal English dub. But yeah, the Yakuza games just don't. All I gotta say is Allah Akbar. Nice. Listen to someone like Chevy Chase, who, even though he's a comedian, has a great natural singing voice, natural pitch. Yeah, I really only know him from his role on Community, actually. You don't want English VAs, Japanese are perfect word, I just wish the localizers did fuck things. Yeah, well, like I said, that's why I like the Judgment games, because they actually do a good job of it. And personally, I like an English voice, because it's just easier for me. You know, I just like having a nice English voice that I can understand easily. But Community was peak, you know. You tried to tip, but it didn't go through? What? Oh, I'm sorry, Slush. Did it... You're saying that the, did you... I assume you used Stream Elements. Did the Stream Elements, like, take your money and not send the message through, or...? I grew up on Chevy with Christmas Vacation and his other movies. Yeah, I know those. I think I saw Christmas Vacation, but I don't think I saw any of his other ones. Well, let me check here. Streamlets.com. Yeah, so I want to make sure it didn't, like, eat your money or something. I didn't get notified that I paid anything, so it must not have. Okay. Well, that's good. At least it's good that it didn't, like, take your money. But yeah, so, as you've no doubt heard by now, EA just got bought out by a consortium of 3 groups, I believe, including the Saudis, for some reason. And so I figured it'll be enjoyable to watch Yang Ya cry about it, as opposed to watching all the other YouTubers going, you know, oh, this is so epic based, it's gonna end the wokeness and all that, which I'm not so optimistic, but it's more funny this way. Yeah, the worst people, exactly, the worst people. And it's like, I mean, they're not great people, but I can think of worse. Alright. So let's get into the Soylent.
EA already had some of the worst management, but now some of the worst people have completely acquired Electronic Arts.
They don't let women drive cars, so they can't be that bad. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good thing, right?
On September 26, 2000.
The traffic is probably a lot safer. Yeah, I'm not convinced either it'll change a damn thing, especially like I said last night, who I saw was part of the purchase or whatever. Yeah, and I'll get into that too.
2025, there are already reports that EA was close to essentially completing a deal to sell the company and go private. EA currently is a public company. It is publicly traded. There are shareholders and whatnot who they have to appease to. By going private, they're no longer in, you know, the stock market and any of that stuff. They are kind of an entity that kind of operates.
Fun fact, it's not just Muslims, Jerry. There are also Jews involved.
As the title suggests, privately, but the people who have bought EA, the organizations who have acquired EA, are not ones that inspire confidence. That report was essentially confirmed by EA today on September 29th, 2025, with EA announcing that they have sold the company for $55 billion. And this is something that EA confirmed on their official website and their investors relations portal page. It reads right here, EA announces agreement to be acquired by PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners for $55 billion. PIF, for those who don't know, is a Saudi Arabian organization, and there's already plenty of dark implications there. Humanitarian issues, like human rights issues with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's that. Obviously, the Middle East has a lot of issues with human rights. I think Qatar does this. I think Saudi Arabia also does this. I believe they're known for taking people's passports and basically enslaving them. Which, you know, that is pretty bad. Just waiting on the Journo Cope, and we know the Prince loves the Journos. Yeah.
Baby, and the way that those elements can potentially influence EA games and their output of products is disconcerting. And then there's Silver Lake, and then Affinity Partners is an organization run by Jared Kushner, who's also not a particularly savory figure and is all.
You know, I actually agree with him. Jared Kushner, he should be kept as far away from the White House as possible.
All in this for the money. He's very much just a suit, and his leadership, or the leadership of any of these organizations, will ultimately offer no benefit to the actual art of making games and want to exploit the art of game making in order to make profit. But yeah, this is a deal where this consortium comprised of PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners will acquire 100% of EA, with PIF rolling over its existing 9.9% stake in the company. So
WWE has a long-standing agreement with the Saudis. They do at least 2 shows over there every year, like a 12 million per show deal or something. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Oh, by the way, Slosh, if you want to try using the Ko-Fi, that might work better. I don't know. But yeah, that makes sense. I've heard something about that. Yeah, you remember, like, and it's not just Saudi Arabia, and it's not just these, the WWE or EA. Like, I'm sure you guys remember that the NBA goes to China all the time. And, like, they're always apologizing to China.
PIF used to own only 10% of EA. Now, with this acquisition, combined with Silver Lake and Affinity Partners, they'll own 100% of EA. And the difference between this and Activision Blizzard, which was acquired for $69 billion by Microsoft, is that Activision Blizzard still remains a publicly traded company. That will not be the case for Electronic Arts.
Yeah, back in 2019, a bunch of talent got stopped at the airport, and they wouldn't let them leave. Some visa thing they claimed, but it was super fishy, Especially if you're like, if we're talking about like, big celebrities, right? Because they know who they are. Yeah, LeBron won't shut up about it. Yeah, LeBron loves China.
We love LeBron James. He's so good. Ting tong, bing tong, bing tong, bing. Down with Trump, up with Xi Jinping.
This is a deal that is expected to be completed in Q1 of fiscal year 2027, so somewhere between April 1st and June 30th of 2026. China. Now, a key detail about this acquisition is the way they're going about it. The consortium, the combination of PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners who are buying out EA, their equity investment is that of approximately $36 billion. So what about the rest, you may ask? Well, it is stated right here, $20 billion of debt financing fully and solely committed by JP Morgan Chase Bank.
So, first of all, if you don't remember, if you're not familiar with the what does PIF stand for? The Saudi PIF, Public Investment Fund. So if you don't remember, they actually have been involved in the video game space before. So the Public Investment Fund is the same organization that cucked the Embracer Group a couple of years ago. So let's see. Yeah, here. So all right, I'm not getting a good not getting any good links. But basically what happened was they were going to put a bunch of money into Embracer Group. So Embracer is the company that owns THQ Nordic. So they own stuff like Saints Row. They're the ones doing the new Deus Ex game, the new Deus Ex remaster. And then at the last minute, the Saudis cucked Embracer, so they took a bunch of money out, and then Embracer did a whole bunch of layoffs. So if you guys remember that, that's what happened there.
He's so alive!
Spooky Slosh tipped $5. Tip for de awesome content always.
Hey, thanks, Slosh. I appreciate that, man. Slosh, Spooky Slush just tipped $5. Deep fuzzy awesome content as always. Well, thank you, Slosh. I really appreciate that. Much appreciation for that. How do I not have a good... Sorry, I need like some kind of react. I need one of these react buttons for that. Jeez. Yeah, I feel bad.
Oh my God!
There you go. It doesn't help that I can't actually hear what's going on. Yeah, for some reason all the audio is still going out to all the audio is still going out the wrong place. But yeah, thank you, Slash. I really appreciate that. That's really kind of you to say. It turns out it was the Ko-Fi thing that was funky. Stream Elements works. Okay, that's weird. Huh. Weird. I'll have to check on Ko-Fi at some point, but yeah, that is weird. Yeah. Yeah, I love the French narrator sound that I picked for it. And yeah, so yeah, Sergey is saying, of course, JP Morgan. Yeah, so Chase Bank, basically. JP Morgan Chase. They don't only put their noses in the gaming market, but also screws around when it comes to people investing in stocks. I don't know, but I know people who do. Oh, Chase has so many problems. There are a million different problems, but they're actually not the core of the problem with EA here. Chase has a bunch of problems though. Like they've been dragging people back to the office, and their CEO, who, I mean, come on, you think the CEO of Chase Bank, you think that guy spends any time in the office when he's not cheating on his wife with his secretary or whatever? No, he's probably out playing golf. But that guy basically threw a tantrum a while back about how nobody was in the office. Yeah, he's awful. Probably just on your end, no biggie. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you making the effort, and, you know, putting that through. Yeah, so let's see. The other hang on here. Yeah, so the real problem is these private equity companies. So where I was going with this is the $20 billion of debt. Here's the thing that you need to keep in mind. This is a leveraged buyout. So what that means is, and this absolutely should not be legal. I don't know why it is, but for some reason, when private equity companies want to buy a company, they can take out loans, like this $20 billion loan here from JP Morgan Chase, and they take the loans out against the company that they're going to buy. So that's what a leveraged buyout is. So in other words, all the debt that's involved in this deal, that debt is on EA. It is not on any of these private equity companies. So that's how EA is getting $20 billion in debt. So what typically happens is, most likely, these private equity firms, it's difficult to say whether or not they're going to, you know, quote unquote, fix the wokeness or anything like that. But what will most likely happen, for sure, is they will most likely strip EA for parts. So what IPs do EA even have at this point? I mean, I know they have like FIFA and, you know, a bunch of the sports games. But those are licensed. So, you know, they may sell the contracts or something somehow. But basically they will sell off all the various parts of EA, you know, their IPs, maybe their Frostbite engine or whatever. So they'll strip the company for parts, and then what's left of EA will be basically a shambling near corpse. And that leftover EA will be left to die. The Sims, maybe at this point. Yeah, The Sims is another one. They'll probably sell The Sims off. Sims and Battlefield. Yeah. So they'll sell off, most likely, most likely they'll just sell off these IPs. So they're not, in the long term, I don't think they're going to really fix the wokeness. They will more like, you may see them get less woke in an attempt to make the IPs more attractive to buyers. Need for Speed. Hey, Neo, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
The more the magicer.
Need for Speed, Skate, Battlefield, BioWare stuff. Yes, that'll be what? Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and The Sims. Yeah, so... Oh, I mean, they may sell dice, right? So Battlefield is dice. So yeah, so they may sell companies, or they may sell the IPs, however they want to do it. Yeah, and Jerry mentions, I hope they bring Command & Conquer back, because the Arabs tend to play the series still. Yeah, that could be another one that's another one that might just get sold off. So they'll sell these off, and then EA, what's left of it, will just be like a shambling corpse that's saddled with debt. And then what happens is EA itself will go bankrupt. So those debts will most likely not be paid back, ever. And when it goes bankrupt, the private equity companies here, so, you know, the Saudi fund, Silver Lake, and Infinity Partners, they will all make off like bandits, having made a ton of money off selling off parts of EA. And then EA will just die. I do not believe that EA is really going to become all that much less woke. But everyone here is panicking because, you know, oh, Saudis, they don't like wokeness. But it's really hard to say. And it also says that, even here, you know, continue to be led by Andrew Wilson as CEO, so it doesn't seem like anything much is even going to change in the short term. And the most fun part of it all is that the way private equity companies work is that typically they end up selling this debt to pension funds and retirement funds. So there's a good chance that you, or, you know, your grandma, well, your grandpa, may end up holding the bag when EA goes under.
This is such a massive acquisition that the consortium, the group of conglomerates, couldn't ultimately cover all of the expenses. So now EA essentially is $20 billion in.
Yeah, what he doesn't understand is this is very normal. Whether or not they can cover it is immaterial. A leveraged buyout is explicitly done for this purpose, so that these investors don't have to spend their own money, and they can just kind of get away with it.
In debt to JP Morgan Chase Bank. And then alongside all that, it was confirmed right here that Andrew Wilson will remain CEO. And while Andrew Wilson has
Dead Space, Titanfall, Crisis, Burnout. Oh, they own. I didn't know they owned Crisis. Medal of Honor, Army of Two. Oh man, I liked Army of Two. They really ruined that series, didn't they? Started off so good, and then 40th Day was okay, and then the last one they did was terrible. Yeah, I've been lurking as usual. Nice.
Has certainly, on a financial level, guided EA as a corporation to heights that please the shareholders and investors. When it comes to the impact, the negative impact he's had on the art of making games, that's an area where people are not happy that he's remaining the leader. But of course, the whole point of this venture isn't to make EA products better, isn't to make their games better. It's to pursue, you know, financial goals. It's to pursue corporate agendas. It's to make as much money as possible.
Well, he got that, at least the last part of that, he got that right. The point of this is for the investors to make as much money as possible here before EA dies. Well, the old Medal of Honor games, never played the modern ones. I don't think I've ever played any of them.
And so we're going to see a lot of aspects of this company now suffer from the quality of their products, I believe, to the employees and the way cost-cutting measures will come into play. Video game journalist Jason Schreier here put it best. He says right here, it's official, EA is going private. The leveraged buyout will be financed by a staggering $20 billion of debt, which likely means some aggressive cost-cutting is ahead of EA in the coming months and years. And
yep, that's usually how these leveraged buyouts go.
that'll come in the form of essentially
Also, Blue Sky.
Why don't you get some scented candles, nigga? Cause you gay!
Mass layoffs, shutting down certain studios. I fear for BioWare at this point because companies like BioWare, studios like BioWare, do not align with the agenda of the likes of PIF, which stands for Public Investment Fund for those who don't.
So I think we're gonna get to laugh a little bit here, because you know, we can. Yeah, exactly, Blue Sky. But you know, we can laugh a little bit at them belly aching over, oh, our woke crap is going away, which who knows if it's going away. Like I said, I think they're probably just going to sell the IPs. I don't think they're actually going to make the games less woke.
Those who don't know, Silver Lake and Jared Kushner's affinity partners, whose affiliation with, you know, the government, the fact that, you know, Donald Trump is president and he's his son-in-law, also creates potential conflicts of interest, so on and so forth. Like, none of this is ultimately good. But aside from the fact that EA is making a deal with multiple devils, including Saudi Arabia, well, that's been a huge focus of this whole fiasco. As Jason Schreier said here, a lot of people are understandably focused on the Saudi Arabia and Kushner part of this, but the far bigger immediate impact will come from the new private EA being on the hook for $20 billion in debt. Now that they're a private company, they have to recoup that themselves. They have to be able to pay that off themselves. That could mean mass layoffs, more aggressive monetization, which will make games worse, as if FIFA or, you know, what is it, EA Sports FC and similar sports titles and many of EA's releases weren't monetized enough already. They might be significantly more aggressive on that front, and other big cost-cutting measures.
Yeah, that probably will happen, but it will likely be done in an attempt to make things more palatable for buyers. Slosh has a B Sky just for lurking. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's fair. James and Kay apparently have one too for networking. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's not like you use it actively though, you know.
That will ultimately negatively impact much of the future of EA. That's the fear, and those fears, I think, are well warranted. And then tying into the cost-cutting measures is this article from the Financial Times, whose headline reads, Video games maker Electronic Arts strikes $55 billion deal to go private. While this article is paywalled, there are news outlets who have picked up on certain aspects of what this article learned that are important to know in this grand scheme of cost-cutting measures so they can pay off that $20 billion debt to JP Morgan and Chase. So right here we have...
Well, you know, you're not a pedophile, Slosh, so...
Insider Gaming, whose headline reads, New EA owners hoping AI will cut costs and boost profits. It's...
Okay, that's just funny.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
It's claimed by the Financial Times. It reads right here that, according to that article, the ownership group is betting on AI being able to significantly cut CEA's operating costs. AI...
I don't go just to not draw unwanted attention or end up like Kangman Lee minus the ability to network like him. Yeah, fair enough. I just stopped using... I don't even use Twitter really anymore, so... I just post when I'm going live, basically. Thankfully not. Yeah.
AI will be used as a way to boost EA's profits in the coming years and to manage a large debt load on a company that historically carried limited net debt. And then further amplifying why all this is ultimately bad.
I don't really see what they're going to use AI for other than to like generate assets or whatever for their games. I don't think it's really going to save them any money. Yeah, exactly. I use X, but very lightly as well. Yep.
For EA, its franchises, and the developers, and the artists, and folks who actually want to make games for the art of making games and wanting to deliver a good product, is the perception that, you know, as the New York Times heard right here, gaming companies have tried to adapt to changing player attitudes and appetites. Console games, those made for the PlayStation and Xbox, as well as desktop computer titles, have largely been in decline. This is a perspective and claim that is plain and simply false. Some of the biggest successes these last few years have been from non-live services, from single-player experiences. I mean, if you look at some of the most successful...
Yeah, and that's true. I think live service. Yeah, they love live services because they think they're going to make money, but most live services, I think, end up failing. I assume you mean Kangman Lee, was at a college with politically arrested people running the campus. It sounded like, yeah. I hadn't heard about that because I don't follow him, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me. The company you work for is pausing up and HR is in charge, so you'd be out. Plus, you're in a right-to-work state, so double F. That's like, I think that's almost every state. And in terms of HR being in charge, that's like a pretty large company.
Titles on Steam, which highlight some of the most successful titles, period. Looking at the all-time peaks here and putting them in that order, you'll find that, you know, second place is Black Myth Wukong.
Okay, I don't think Black Myth Wukong is a, I don't think that's the best argument, because, to my knowledge, it's a Chinese game. And say what you want about the Chinese, but they're very patriotic. So, it is very likely that Wukong, you know, might have been a fine game, but it was heavily, heavily supported by the Chinese. So that's not the best argument, though I do agree with them in general.
Power World is up there, Monster Hunter Wilds. You've got, you know, the likes of Cyberpunk 2077 and Elden Ring and Hogwarts Legacy, and Baldur's Gate 3 has...
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy is a good example, though, because that is actually a single-player game, you know, and it did really well. Yeah, and then there's Baldur's Gate 3. Well, our manager who recently left, he may have been a guard, maybe. Huh. Interesting. Young speaking as his own nation. I think he's Korean, Slosh. I don't think he's Chinese.
Among the most played and the most highly successful financial commercial products, and then most recently even indie titles like Hollow Knight Silksong have garnered tremendous acclaim, and on top of that have sold incredibly well and have done numbers that a lot of those AAA publishers who pursue live services in the name of profit would be jealous of. But the general belief is that the direction to go is live services and free-to-play, and this is something that EA has subscribed to for a very long time. You know, they've made claims that single-player games are dying when in fact they're thriving more than ever. The New York Times states right here that instead gamers have flocked to free-to-play games like Fortnite, and many play from smartphones and other mobile devices. Not to say that there isn't a huge audience there, not to say that there aren't huge financial successes on that front.
But I mean, think about it. Let me ask it this way. How is this different from what EA has already been doing for like the last 5 years? They've just been spewing out, you know, live services because Fortnite is so popular, and they keep failing, except for like what? I think Apex Legends kept going, but most of them have failed. Like, remember Anthem? So how is this any different than EA's continuing business plan?
But all of that often involves gameplay systems that force you to spend money on, you know, gambling elements, microtransactions, and gacha and loot boxes that kind of inspire recurrent spending in order for you to have like an ideal experience, because those games are purposely designed in such a way that you have to spend a lot of money recurrently in order to be able to get the rewards that you want at a fun, consistent, not insufferable pace. And that's because it isn't very regulated. Companies just get away with the most extreme versions of those elements, and that's what these, you know, many of these AAA game companies or publishers want to exploit. They want a piece of that pie because of the monetization potential, not because those pave the road to great gameplay experiences. This continues. Others have embraced casual mobile games which do not take the same amount of time and money to develop as those made by major studios like Electronic Arts. And so yeah, the perspective is they want more money for less effort, for less work, for less expenditure. And then it says right here, analysts believe that the Saudi plan is to make some of Electronic Arts' most popular titles widely available and possibly free to play on platforms, which could include mobile devices and streaming television apps. And yeah, those analysts are probably right. Entities like Saudi Arabia come into play here. And
again, none of this is really anything new. This is just the standard modern Electronic Arts playbook.
Making such a major purchase of EA it is ultimately about just spreading their influence. It is about acquisition of money and power. But the thing is, getting in bed with Saudi Arabia is not something that is viewed in a positive light due to, as I mentioned previously, some of the major ways in which Saudi Arabia does not respect just basic human rights. So right here we have the Human Rights Watch website that talks about Saudi Arabia, and you can see right here just all of the various reports that highlight that Saudi Arabia, the leaders and organizations like the PIF, the abuses that they've partaken in, the censorship that they've partaken in, and the way they've essentially just wiped out dissenters is pretty ruthless and just morally, not even questionable, just morally reprehensible. It reads right here, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has consolidated political and economic power, including as chairman of Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund.
You know, I don't remember this kind of outcry over Saudi Arabia when they were involved with Embracer. It's interesting that it's only just now that it's EA.
On the PIF, a sovereign wealth fund that has facilitated and benefited from rights abuses. PIF investments in high-profile sports and entertainment events, domestically and internationally, are used to whitewash the country's abysmal human rights record. Migrant workers, including on PIF-funded projects, face widespread abuses under the kafala sponsorship system. Saudi Arabian...
I think that is what I was talking about earlier, where they often steal passports, and they basically enslave people by stealing their passports.
Authorities harshly repress any dissent, including by handing down long sentences or the death penalty after unfair trials or charges related to peaceful online expression. And
yeah, hearing this turd talk about these issues when he sides with people who literally silenced half the US a few years ago. Yeah, no, there are a lot of people like that, unfortunately. Yeah, you know, free speech, he doesn't... Yeah, I don't think he really cares about freedom of speech. Just freedom of his own speech, basically. His own side's speech.
And that's just scratching the surface. And then the likes of Jared Kushner and his organization being in league with the elite, and their goals not being aligned with delivering the best consumer experience with gaming, but just aligning...
I don't like Jared Kushner either, but you just know that this guy... that Yong Ya is not upset about this because Jared Kushner is, you know, an Israeli shill. He's upset about this because he has pure TDS. Like, you know that's what it is. It's just TDS. He doesn't have, like, a legitimate reason to dislike Kushner.
Lining their pockets with, you know, more money, because for these kinds of folks, you know, enough money does not exist. There's all the money. That's what they want. And, you know, you got a concoction here that just is basically the worst case scenario I could have imagined for an EA acquisition. One potential upside is that because EA doesn't have to appease to shareholders anymore due to the fact that they're going private, maybe they have more autonomy over the way they do things, but that autonomy ultimately comes down to who is at the head of EA. And sure, Andrew Wilson might be the CEO, but he's ultimately a puppet of the...
I mean, EA will probably be left to its own devices to some degree. But like I said, they're going to strip EA for parts, so whatever EA does is going to have to be done with whatever's left after anything of use is sold off.
Investors who acquired this corporation, this company, that now belongs to them, and they can dictate however they want, they can influence however they want, and Saudi Arabia can essentially go in, and their ideals can be infused in EA releases and products. And the elites and the likes of, you know, Jared Kushner's organization, Affinity Partners, and the like of Silver Lake, all of them will ultimately influence the direction of Electronic Arts and the kinds of products they release and the kind of content that those products contain. I just don't foresee this being a partnership that paves the road to, and I don't foresee this being a partnership that paves the road to the most creatively empowering kind of situations and the most creatively empowering products. And the thing about Saudi Arabia and the PIF in particular is that over the last few years, they've gone and either invested in or acquired tons of other video game related companies. You know, they have a stake in Capcom and Embracer Group and NCSoft and Nexon and Nintendo and SNK Corporation and Take-Two Interactive. And they've acquired the likes of Hero Esports and Niantic and Scopely and Steer Studios. And then now with EA, it is all jointly owned between the PIF and...
Okay, but how are these stakes any different than, say, BlackRock or Vanguard or State Street? How is that any different than those shady investors?
And these other organizations. That is a tremendous amount of influence and power to give one entity over corporations that represent a huge portion of an entire medium, the interactive medium that is.
Or Tencent, for that matter, actually. How is that any different from Tencent, who own, like, what? A huge chunk of Epic Games? Curiously, he's silent about all of those.
Video games, the kind of power that they'll have to influence how these video games are made, the things that they'll allow and not allow, and how their goals are ultimately about self-service, how their goals are ultimately about, you know, delivering the messages that they want to send, and their involvement restricting certain kinds of content, and their involvement ultimately being about maximum monetization and not maximum fun means that, you know.
Tencent is his people, though. Well, like I said, he's Korean, so technically no. At least I think he's Korean. But technically no. But, because yeah, Tencent is Chinese.
No, nobody wins here except the moneymakers. Stephen Totillo here spoke to various folks within EA who've expressed concerns as well. I wrote about the EA deal and spoke to some current EA workers to get their takes. We have seen quotes such as, "I'm nervous." Layoffs usually follow those types of acquisitions. We certainly saw that with the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, where...
Yeah, there probably will be layoffs in all likelihood because they, you know, again, they want to make money, right? And they probably are realizing that they have too many people there who don't do anything. Of course, if you really want to accomplish something, you should be firing HR and middle management, but something tells me that's not who's going to get laid off.
Where layoffs did follow, or, you know, the Bungie acquisition from Sony, layoffs did follow. That is very much a common trend, but with EA in particular being $20 billion in debt, the pressure to cut costs is significant, and so layoffs are pretty much guaranteed. Layer that on top of reports that EA wants to rely more on AI to be able to cut costs and to be able to pay off their debt. These companies are losing their soul, their creative soul more and more, and just the human element more and more.
This is EA. They don't have a creative soul.
And then, you know, there are people who are afraid that EA will be restricted in the kinds of representation that they can put in their games due to the fact that, you know, when you've got Saudi Arabia involved, they're very strict about the kinds of things they do censor, and they censor a lot of stuff. Again, Saudi Arabia...
No! No!
Are you...
No! No!
Are you joking?
No!
Are you joking me?
Not the women and the LGBTQ employees. Oh no, whatever will we do without them? Oh no.
Oh no. What happened? Oh no, how terrible. That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
Yeah, so this is why I wanted to use the Young Yeah clip. There might even be something better out there that's even more like, you know, even more woke lunatic. But, yeah. Yeah, I figured we could laugh at this. I figured we could laugh at all this together. Because it's so, you know, out of all this, we can at least enjoy... We can at least enjoy the woke people freaking out. Even though, in all likelihood, they probably the wokeness will not really go anywhere, but there will probably be layoffs, not because of wokeness, but just because of costs. But oh man, does it feel good? Does it feel good to just laugh at these people? They lost their creative soul decades ago. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying. EA doesn't have a creative soul anymore. Ram. Yeah. Yep. I love these clips so much. Good. Well, I'm glad you love them, Wingus, because I love putting them together. I always think of random clips, and yeah, then I like putting them in. Here's one I think you guys will enjoy.
Shit.
I haven't found a reason to use that one yet, but I've been waiting to use it. Are you going to cover how EA wants to replace their employees with AI too, though? I think that was covered, Sergey. I think that was mentioned really quick. I don't know if there's like a more deep dive into it. But I probably won't go too into that. At least right now. But I did say that I don't think it's going to work out the way they think it will. There is no... Like, we've seen this with tons of companies so far. There are companies saying, oh, we're gonna replace all our employees with AI, and then they actually try it, and it turns out to be a complete dumpster fire. Or what they actually did is lay off all their employees and replace them with H-1Bs and outsourcing. So, yeah, I don't think AI is really going to do what they all think it does. Yes, Margot Robbie. Yeah, we all gotta love Margot Robbie. I got one more too.
Got it? Okay. Now fuck off.
Again, I don't really have a good use for that one, but I thought it was funny. Sorry, I totally missed it. All right, no worries. Yeah, Microsoft is one of them. Yep. Yeah, Microsoft has been abusing the H-1Bs massively. Yeah, Amazon, again, has been... I think they're the biggest abuser of H-1Bs at this point. But, yeah. All right, let's wrap up with everyone's favorite singer.
Breaking the law.
About the kinds of things they do censor, and they censor a lot of stuff. Again, Saudi Arabia rules with an iron fist. Dissenters get shut down. Journalists get assassinated. And you've got situations where, like, human rights are straight up just abused, and they just don't care about that stuff. They take power at all costs, and that's the kind of entity that EA has aligned itself with.
Gee, who else likes to take power at all costs? Certainly not any particular political group.
With EA and its board of directors. So yeah, EA was already under very awful management. EA does have talented folks, the developers who genuinely care about the creative side of things, who are restricted by the chains that management put on them. But now with this kind of acquisition, where the power has gone to some of the worst people imaginable, some of the worst organizations that could possibly helm a video game company, yeah, none of this paints a positive light for EA and its future. But I suppose only time will tell.
And that part I agree with. It is highly unlikely that anything positive will come out of this. I'm glad that less woke stuff, that may mean more microtransactions, I don't know. Well, I think, yeah, it sounds like you missed a big part of this, Sergey. What I was saying is, I don't think that it's going to be significantly less woke. I don't think the wokeness is going away necessarily. But you might get more microtransactions. I think more likely... they're just going to strip the company for parts. Yeah, Wingus, you're thinking about who else could do that, right? Okay, BRB. Okay, gotcha.
We'll tell how all this will play out, but the general sentiment out there right now is this is a big old yikes. This
woke Twitter speak detected.
EA ship, it's being steered by the worst people who could steer this. And just even from a moral standpoint, the associations that EA is engaging in by letting itself be acquired by some of these awful entities, some of these awful people and organizations, it paints an extremely negative light and extremely poor optics for a company that already had some of the worst optics in the games industry, due to specifically the way management, leadership and the suits and the executives operate. This is the same company that said that the microtransactions infested Battlefront 2 was about giving people a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Yeah, the surprise mechanics that are quite fun. Yeah, I remember that.
The same folks who said that loot boxes aren't gambling, they're Kinder eggs, and they're fun, and there's nothing morally wrong with them. Quite fun, quite ethical is how they put it. So ethics is not something that EA has ever really been concerned with, and it especially shows with this acquisition, the fact that they were...
So I guess we can at least agree on that.
Let be acquired by the likes of the Saudi Arabian PIF and Jared Kushner and all these entities. It's all ultimately very self-serving. But that's one man's take. I'd love to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on EA in the comments below. What do you think the future holds with this acquisition? What do you think will change? What do you think will remain the same? And what do you think about EA going private and it being acquired by the entities that have been listed? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Young out. One more time.
We're breaking the law.
Young out. So Slosh says they'll probably limit future regional releases like they always have, but the inner workings probably won't change much. Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to change that much in terms of EA's general internal operations. I think, yeah, they might do... And yeah, Disney does the same thing with their releases. They didn't put out the Lightyear movie overseas in certain regions, and the Skywalker movie with the lesbian kiss was cut out entirely. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. That is pretty much what I'm saying, is that they will probably just do the same thing they've been doing. Maybe a bit more regional censorship. But yeah, I don't see this in any way fixing EA or making it all that significantly less woke. Yeah, Saudis will do the same thing overseas. Yep. The money just changed hands. Yep. Yeah, it's just different people, and like I said, I think they're just going to strip the company for IPs. Like he'd care if they handed him a fat check. Well, to be fair, Fractured, if I were handed a fat check, I would probably sell out too. But that's how you know that's how you know I'm honest, is that I hate everything and nobody's paying me. So. If someone wants to pay me to sell out, I am available. I am available for purchase. Okay, so yeah, that's my thoughts on EA. I don't think we'll get into the whole private equity rabbit hole today. At some point, I want to cover that. There is like a whole rabbit hole about private equity doing this kind of thing where they do leverage buyouts on distressed assets, basically use debt to buy a company that is not doing great, saddle said company with debt, strip the company for parts, and then let it die. And then there's also a second part to this where they're selling off all that debt to pension funds and retirement funds, and people don't really know about that. At some point I want to dig into that rabbit hole, but I don't think I want to do that today. But at the very least, that is what's going on with EA and what I think is going to happen. I think it's just going to be the typical private equity route. I don't think we're going to see any significant fixes of EA or any significant reduction in wokeness. I think that the people who you're seeing going about, oh, this is EA is good, this is going to be like Epic-based wokeness going away, EA is getting better, people who are doing that. I think they're either just grifting or they're being way too optimistic. And I won't name names because I don't want to do that. But I think there are a lot of people who are trying to turn this into something it's not. I also don't think it's going to be, I also don't think that the woke people screaming about it are right either. I don't think that they're going to kill their woke garbage for the most part. Ask Bill Burr what his bank account is looking like now. Yeah. Well, in Bill Burr's case, didn't he just tone everything down because he got married? Let's see. Yeah, I perhaps would too, but I try to have some scruples. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I do have my my moral scruples. I could guess the usual suspects, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people, there are even people out there that I really do like that are saying this. I just don't think that they're paying enough attention, because I think what happens is a lot of the people who talk about,
they talk about like gaming media and stuff. I think they're more heavily focused in the gaming space itself, and they don't really focus necessarily. Yep, they're not like crazy like me and watch Alex Jones and get into all the globalist conspiracy theories and all that. So I think they're probably not the kind of people who are really going to be paying attention, and so if they don't know what you might learn about private equity from other stuff, they might think that this actually is going to be some epic base, end of wokeness kind of thing. So I don't necessarily blame them, but I do think that a lot of people are missing a lot of key information. Unabated. Wingus, I'm not... It looks like you're correcting something, but I'm not sure what you're correcting, Wingus. Reactionary content from people I follow closely. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are definitely grifters out there too, but I think there are a lot of people who are just... Yeah. I think it skipped my comment. Yeah. So a lot of times, Wingus, your comment... YouTube shadow bans comments. So if you... Yeah, your comment simply didn't go through. So what'll happen is YouTube will actually... It'll look to you like your comment went through, but then your comment never actually went through. YouTube does that for some reason. So if you like refresh the chat, or if you close and reopen the chat, usually you'll see whether or not your comment went through. No worries. All right. Maybe it's the word slop. Could be. YouTube censorship AI is so weird. It gets triggered by the most random things. Yeah, he did. He tilted more left, Bill Burr, I assume, since the last year, especially with the election, but he took a big Saudi check for that comedy super show coming up. I bet his BLM wife is happy to see that. Nice. It's what some have called hope grifting. They get too overly optimistic on these things when you need to be realistic, and I know you don't want to be le black build, but shilling false hope is shitty. Oh, dude, I am way past black build, man. But yeah, a lot of them do shill false hope for this stuff. It's the same kind of thing when they're like, oh, my heckin' base Japan is gonna fix gaming, and then you see Nintendo putting out all their overpriced nonsense. And then it's like, oh, how could my heckin' base Nintendo do this? I thought Nintendo was gonna save gaming, It's the same kind of thing. Hope grifting. Yeah, that's a good term. You've been seeing... I assume you're referring to the chat getting censored, Slosh. You've been seeing that more lately, especially in the Melee chat. Yeah, I see it all the time. And it's not just the Melee chat, but I think I tend to chat more in the Melee chat. So, that's where I tend to see it most. Void build. That's a new one. I haven't heard that term. Alright. We live in a corporatized society now. Everything we loved as a kid now exists to make money. Yeah, and the sad part is, and this is why I said gatekeeping is important. You gotta gatekeep. Yeah, you were talking about the chat. This is part of why gatekeeping is important, with what I was talking about earlier during the Stan Lee bit. This is why you need to gatekeep. It's not just about woke people. You also need to gatekeep normies from hobbies. Because when normies come in, that is when corporations realize that there's big money to be made. And that's when everything turns into normie slop. And everything just turns into complete consumerist garbage. And there's no love or care put into anything anymore. Oh, man. My throat got parched. Alright, so that is it for the EA segment. Yeah, I'm with you. I have a lot of thoughts on nerd culture ever since the mid-2000s. Oh yeah, it has fallen so far since the mid-2000s. It's like, in the early 2000s, you had so much good stuff. It was like kind of a golden age, especially in comic books. It was kind of a golden age in terms of comic book adaptations, because we had all the incredible 90s stuff that was still going. We had, the cartoons. We had like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. We had some other stuff going around. And then the comics sort of started to take a nosedive in the mid-2000s. And then we saw, the MCU came out, and it started off great, 2008. And then after, like, 2012, it all sort of fell off a cliff. And now we just get endless reboots and bad reboots, bad sequels, bad remakes, all that stuff. So, and even video games, they're... Yeah, we get some big titles here and there, but the variety is dead. Back in the day, if whatever you were into, there was always a new game coming out for everybody. And now it seems like there's one game that's supposed to be for everybody, and a lot of people just sort of soy out over it. But really, it's the same game over and over again. So. Well, and after that black pill, I don't know. Should we do one more React topic, chat? What do you think? Should we do another React? There's like one more thing I was thinking about, but it's kind of a downer. Or should we save that for next time? You know what? We'll save that for next time. So I think in this case we're gonna go into the gaming. So I am going to set up Psychonauts and remind me to talk in a French accent because we're gonna be getting into the French Napoleon level. Good with anything? All right, yeah, we'll get into the game. Yeah, because this is one of my favorite levels in Psychonauts too that we're about to get into. So yeah, we're gonna get into Psychonauts in a bit. I will be right back. I just want to get like a protein bar or something because I'm starving. So yeah, I will be right back, and I want you guys to enjoy our new Be Right Back music. That is by Paul Hadouken. So give me just a couple minutes, chat. We will get started. All right, Chad, I'm back. Hope you enjoyed that music. Let me give you a. Okay, what? Don't tell James I've never played a Duke Nukem game. Well, me neither. I've only played Doom. No, Sergey. So the Nightmare Will Return screen, that just means a break. When the stream ends, I put up a screen that just says thank you. Just a break. Yep. If you haven't, Paul's Ultra Combo track is awesome. Okay, I haven't heard that one. I'll have to look that one up later. Yeah, let me fire up Psychonauts, and hopefully this runs without any issues. Come on. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way, and hopefully... Hey, there we go. Alright, time to get into my favorite level. Big old brain, yep.
Come on! Even Wellington hit harder than that. Stop dying! Get up and stop dying! Sacre bleu! I have been hit!
Sacre bleu!
Hey, you found my super valuable rare coin.
Yeah. Can I have it?
Knock yourself
Glad
out.
you're back, Sergey.
I got enough memories of my dumb ancestors hanging around.
Huh. So we have to help Napoleon's descendant Fred win the battle in his mind. Also, I like how if you look outside the window, it looks like you're in a smaller version of this tabletop game.
Sacre bleu! I wish my own descendants had your fighting instinct. Ow!
Oh, go ahead. Beat me up. I don't care.
Trust me, he doesn't.
We'll just cause some mayhem here. I love breaking things. Sergey's getting tired of not moving around because of your accident. Oh man, I didn't realize you were still not able to move around much, man. That sucks. That's rough.
Who's winning?
Nobody's winning. Want to know who's losing? The Bonaparte family name.
Look, I forfeit, okay? You win. Napoleon Bonaparte wins again.
Is that the real Napoleon Bonaparte? I mean the imaginary real Napoleon Bonaparte?
Yeah, I'm actually related
You
to
could,
him.
just your
Believe
right
it?
side is hurting, and your back and neck. Oh, that's tough, man. I'm sorry.
I don't even want to be here. But when this sad excuse for a Bonaparte lost a simple game of war to a feeble-minded invalid, I just could not take it anymore. I was forced to take control, and I will stay in control until I beat the love of victory into this degenerate swine who dares to call himself a Bonaparte.
No, really, great.
You just can't work out or lift anything heavy. Yeah, that could be tough when you're used to working out.
I love it so much. You can go now, I swear. Your move.
Who's winning now? Who's winning now?
What do you think?
Alright, I think we did everything we can do in here. Oh, wait. Figment. So we jump in the game board. How fun is that?
What's this? My lazy opponent is actually trying to win? He has sent in reinforcements. Well, then let the game truly begin. Send in my best soldier. You, destroy that bridge for France!
For France? I hate your stupid bridge. This is how much I hate you. Ha ha!
Stupid bridge.
Suck on that bridge. Ah, yes. Now I shall go torment this poor peasant over here. Ha ha!
Oh man, now look. The bridge is broken and I can't move my pieces past it anymore. I quit. Napoleon, you win.
No, we don't forfeit. We're gonna beat you,
The French are taking over the subconscious. Oh no.
I like your je ne sais quoi, your joie de vivre. Maybe you will teach my long-legged nincompoop a lesson, eh? Alors.
Well, let's run around and see what's here. That is the one voice I would not want to have in my mind. Yeah. Understandable.
I wish my own descendants had your fighting instinct.
Let's see. Alright, oh, one more. There we go. I think that's all the figments around the edge there. Okay, so I can run around in this water when I'm big and it doesn't do anything.
Word to the wise, give up while you can. Fred's gonna win. I can burn wood with my mind.
Well, that would be how you say, cheating!
Hey, don't touch my pieces! That is cheating! Hey, don't touch my pieces! That is cheating!
Dude, French Canadians are mad racist.
Nice, that's funny. Alright, let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Things. Didn't work. The shield, I guess? I don't know. That didn't work. Invisibility, maybe? Ooh, telekinesis, maybe. Let's try that. Yes, that worked. I don't think that's actually what you're supposed to do, but it worked. Where were we? Okay. Let's step to the door.
Hello in there. Any carpenters home?
Go away, burglar.
I'm not a burglar. I'm a recruiter for Fred Bonaparte's army. We're a little light in our corps of engineers, see?
Listen, I know you're a burglar. I've been listening to your footsteps on my roof all night trying to break in. Why don't you just slide down the chimney? I got a nice fire going for you in here, Mr. Burglar.
Okay, so I guess we gotta just fight the guy
If
up
I'm a
top.
burglar, then how can I be down here talking to you and up on the roof at the same time?
Maybe you're a ventriloquist.
Listen, if I go see
That doesn't
what's up
even
on
make
your roof and
sense.
take care of it, will you come out and help fight Napoleon?
Maybe.
Good enough.
So we gotta get up onto the roof here. That's the guillotine.
Got it.
All right. So let's see what's in here. I don't think I can actually go up there, but maybe. Oh. Hey, check this out, chat. If you look in this window, you can see the room we were just in with Napoleon and Fred. Isn't that interesting? I can't get up here, so it doesn't really do me any favors, but... Yeah, trippy, exactly. Just toss him into the river there. Go. Oh, this is something else entirely. But alright, if we're here, we might as well talk to whoever's here.
Hello, I'm recruiting for the army of Fred Bonaparte, and...
Go away! Fred Bonaparte has forgotten the people, and we have forgotten him!
What? Fred loves the people. He was just telling me that some of his best friends are, the people.
He has abandoned us. He doesn't care if we live or die.
Look, I'll tell you what. I'll talk to Fred. I'll talk to him, and I'll prove to you that he cares about the common man, and that the fight is not meaningless.
I'll believe it when I hear it from him.
I don't know how to do that. But first I want to get onto the rooftop. Don't know how to do that. Maybe I can go down to this guy's roof and go from there. Oh. Oh, alright. Damn it. There we go. I'm curious where this leads me. Interesting bridge. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, let's try again to get onto that rooftop. Oh, dang it. I promise, this is a fun level. I'm just getting stuck. Go. There we go. Eesh. So I need invisibility here. Why am I not grabbing that? Oh, jeez. Hey, Snap, how's it going, man?
The more the magicer!
You missed some interesting React content today. It does not let me unbecome invisible. There we go. Jeez. Nice to see Psychonauts featuring Invader Zim, yep. Good old Richard Horvitz. What? Why did it fall off? The rope is right there. Yeesh. Some of these streams, or some of these platforms. Yeah, that was a fun time yesterday, Fractured. I'm glad you finally got Fear working. I'm glad I was able to find you that mod. There we go. Fear is how I fall, consuming what is real. I'm gonna use this thing. Finally. Jeez. Yeah, I'm glad that mod was just easy peasy throwing it into the game folder and that being it. Since I'm going to be paying, but yeah, some of them are a real pain. Fred versus Crispin. Alright. So this is Fred's backstory. Some kind of inmate. Guess Crispin wins somehow. I see we got someone new on Twitch. Winnie Rill. Hey, how are you? I'm good, Winnie. Thanks for coming to the stream.
Welcome, valued customer!
Hope you're doing well. Alright, I don't think we can get on that thing. Alright, let's go talk to the guy down here.
Okay, you can come out. Burglar's gone.
Wow. You're pretty tough for a ventriloquist. Okay, here I come.
I'm not a ventriloquist.
Just show me where there's some wood to work on, and I'll go to town.
Cool. Alright, so I think we can just get back up here. Nice. I'm doing fine, Winnie. Just hanging out, playing some Psychonauts. We're at the tail end of the stream here.
Broke my beautiful bridge. Don't worry, darling. We'll get you fixed up good as new in no time. Man, I am good.
Nice. We got our bridge back. Alright, let's see. So we can talk to that guy. Yeah, it's a fun game to play on stream. Where am I supposed to put this? Okay, I guess I can just break it. That works too. Looks like there are a couple of places you can go. Oh, here we go.
Hello?
Yeah, it's a good time,
I
Lee.
can't storm Napoleon's stronghold today. Too weak.
Oh, okay. Want me to call a doctor?
No, I'm not sick. I just can't find any decent food around here. An army moves on its stomach, you know. An elite
Usually
force
play
such as
Red Dead 2 or Elden Ring when you're free.
receive,
Alright. I haven't played either of those myself.
Well, I'll keep on the lookout for some place with good takeout.
Only the best.
No, I just stream once a week. Thursdays.
And anything but the finest French delicacy might bruise my palate and leave me unable to storm anything, save the vomitorium.
Vomitorium. Alright, so I guess we gotta get something for this guy to eat. Alright, cool. Catch you soon, Sergey. Whatever. Let's see. So where is this escargot that he wants? this? Cobweb. Nice. Well, that was hidden away. I remember vomitoriums from school. Vomitorium's what? More or less like an auditorium, isn't it? Why don't I have any emotes on my channel as I'm affiliated? I'm not affiliated, Winnie. I do not make any money from streaming. Let's toss this guy in the water. No, in the water. There we go. Alright, so how do we... Yeah, well, this is how we get out of this area. But... their way of staying fit. Well, no, Slosh, I don't think that, assuming you're going through the whole... assuming you're talking about, like, the idea that the vomitoriums are places where people just go throw up. I don't think that's what they actually were. I could be wrong, but... memory serves right. Oh, I can stand here. The game spends all this time telling you you can't go in the water, and then you have to go in the water. Alright. Maximum projection depth increased. Nice. Oh, here we go. You're going in the water. Ah.
Can't get a good grip.
Okay, well, there's a lot going on here. Do I have an idea for you as well? If you don't mind, can I share with you? Yeah, sure. Fred Crispin. Huh. So Fred lost his mind when he lost a game to Crispin. Here it comes. Oh, you're going in the water. You are also going in the water. No. You're going in the water. Slosh just fractured says here it comes. Huh. What comes fractured? Slosh says, okay, so I just read that was a myth, apparently, even though they taught us that in schools. Yeah. Okay, it was just a passageway. I guess that makes sense. I should probably just use the shield.
I need the steamer trunk tag for this guy. I need the steamer trunk tag for this guy.
I can just like toss him into the water. I can't. Dang it. Oh, maybe I can set him on fire. Let's try that. Oh. There we go. Wait, how did I end up on fire? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Slosh. Let's play on the word, Latin word vomit, which just means to exit. Yeah. Yeah, so when you vomit, the contents of your stomach exit violently. Let's see. Basically, I'm a digital artist. I work for streamers since 4 or 5 years on commission. Would you like to see some of my... So, Winnie, I've had a few artists ask about commissions. Unfortunately, since my streams don't really make any money, it's not really very realistic for me to commission anything right now. But, no. Wait. Let me see if I can get to this. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay, well, we got a bunch of stuff. Alright. No question. Oh, jeez. Wait, how did that thing come back? Heck. Yeah, unfortunately, Slosh, the thing is that school likes to teach you a lot of things that aren't true. For instance, the idea that the Federal Reserve is anything except a scam. Or that government is somehow good. Uh-oh. There we go. Right, I think there's a lot. Oh, this is how we get up. Or that Columbus was... Well, I mean, Columbus was not great. What schools will typically tell you about Columbus is that he discovered America, which, I mean, is not true. There were other explorers that beat him to the punch. But, I mean, there is the fact that, yeah, Columbus was actually kind of an idiot, from what I remember. So, he was under the impression that Earth was a lot smaller than it was. And that... And, Euclid had actually roughly calculated the size of the Earth long before him. You know, back in ancient Greece. And so the reason he couldn't get funding for his expedition wasn't... Oh, I think maybe we... Yeah, there we go. And the reason he couldn't get funding for his expedition, I believe, is because basically the king and queen basically realized he was a dumbass. And so they didn't want to give him funding for something that wouldn't make any sense. Because he thought, oh, if I sail around the opposite side of the world, I will find a shortcut to Asia. That didn't work. And because he was such a retard, he landed in El Salvador and assumed he was in India. And that is why we now call Native Americans Indians. And why I suffer greatly every time someone asks me what my ethnic background is. I did not mean to spark out. To be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Got it.
You're asked, I'm just blankly called a white guy. Yeah, well. I guess it goes both ways. I have a heritage, dang it. Yeah, I hear ya. Nice, now I can get back in the building. Oh, there's more pyro to do here.
Hey, look, a musket. I'll bet I could arm our troops with that.
Time for some Second Amendment chat. But I do want to get back up there and get... Here we go. Alright. I did want to just grab that bag tag there. Alright. Well, see, here's the thing, Fractured. The nice thing is that if you're French, you can just say you're white, and nobody will really ask about it. So that's the good thing about being called a white guy, I guess, is that you don't have to admit you're French. Out bullet shopping, okay. Oh, great, another one of these guys. You, water.
Hi. Is this big soldier bugging you?
Yes?
Well, why don't you come out here and fight him?
What's the pay?
Freedom?
Forget it.
Slash has two heritages, for better or worse, German and Native American. Well. I guess you can rain dance and grow a toothbrush mustache, right? You can use this.
Hi. Is this big soldier bugging you?
Oh.
Yes?
If I get him a gun?
Cool musket, eh?
It would be cool if we had some pawn shops in this town, and I could sell it.
Oh, so he just wants money. Where are those snails, though? As far as I ever knew, I am French, German, and Irish, but I have a former cop profile me and said Polish, not French, so I'm not 100%. What do you mean he profiled you, Fractured? Like, he looked at you and said, you know, you look kind of Polish to me.
Hey, we really need your help out here on the
Or did you do some kind of, like, DNA test?
Did you talk to Fred Bonaparte yet?
Oh, yeah. Hey, check out this coin I found.
I'm not in this for the money. If our leaders cared about us, I'd fight for nothing.
Alright, well, let's go talk to Fred. He took a look and he asked me, and he figured German Irish, but not the French. Huh. Let's,
Hey, Fred.
It's interesting.
The problem is people think you don't care.
What? I care.
Yeah, but it sounds like
Then
even
lead
he's
them
just
to
guessing.
Victory, Milky Toast.
Shut up.
They think you don't care if they live or die.
What do they want from me? A notice on my official stationery that says I'd be sad if they died?
Yep.
Huh. Well, if that doesn't work...
Let me guess. You give up?
Bingo!
Ha! Another game at which I would surely defeat you.
Hey, you take that little victory if you need it, tiny man.
He was a co-worker in charge of our assets protection department. Interesting. No, I don't need to be here. So he was a security guard, basically. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that, we were trying to get that detailed.
Hey, I have an important message from
I
your
don't
fearless
even,
leader.
even a cop, I don't know how
Oh my God. He
good he would
does
be at
care.
that.
He does. I knew it. Fred Bonaparte is the greatest leader of all time. I can't wait to die for his cause.
Well, you might not die. You might win.
Hey, he's a great leader, but he's still Fred. Okay, hurl my innocent bones into the cruel machine of war. I'm ready.
Alright, let me get out of here. Alright, so we can put him right there.
Take that! Die! I kill you!
I kill you.
Sacre bleu! I cannot believe it, Fred. You have accidentally done something right.
I have?
Yes, but I'm afraid it's still not enough. More manpower!
I have?
Oh, mon Dieu! I hate bridges! Ah! Justice for killing my father! Bridge!
Hey, stop killing my bridges. You're making me mad.
Alright, now I gotta repair another bridge. Wonderful. Alright, welcome back, Sergey. Oh, jeez. Oh, great. Now I'm on fire. There we go. My dog can finally chill, man. The zoomies all day. Okay, so I just use telekinesis to pull these. Easy enough. This is the most French thing I have ever done. The escargot. Oh, great. One of these things.
Okay, snails, it's time to serve the cause.
So be it.
Where's the nearest water I can hurl this guy into? There we go. Alright, time for a hearty meal.
I'm recruiting for Fred Bonaparte's army, and Fred really cares.
What's the pay?
Hey, check out this coin I found.
Money! Oh, man! Well, I'm off to die in battle, dear, for an incompetent leader who'll never know my name.
I hope you remarry well.
More of that negative talk.
I just hope she doesn't spend it all on scrapbook making supplies. She's gone nuts about that stuff. Part of the reason I'm so ready to die. Anyway, let's go. War ahoy and all that stuff.
Poor guy. See, if strategy games were more like this, I would actually play a strategy game. Where's that hungry guy? Hey, let's get this. Okay, need the bridge repair.
Oh, now who went and broke my beautiful bridge? Don't worry, darling. We'll get you fixed up good as new in no time. Man, I am good.
Alright, let's move him.
I kill you!
Haha! Not bad, Fred.
What? What'd I do?
You're doing better than usual. And I hate to end the fun, but I guess it's time to put an end to this, as usual. Guard the bridge to the stronghold with your life!
None shall pass.
Okay then. We're good here. This is the next one, so I need to get that bucket of snails.
Hello. I'm recruiting soldiers for the army of the caring and generous Fred Bonaparte.
Weapon.
What?
Weapon. That's what I want. I'm not gonna die like the others, okay?
That's the spirit.
You get me my special musket, and I'll come out. I think I left it buried in some hay in that heavily guarded building over there.
Well, I already got the musket, so.
Then I'll sign up and kill me some Napoleon lovers. Got it?
Be right back.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, there's your special musket. Ready?
All right, now I'm all set to go rob that stupid carpenter.
What? I got you that gun so you could fight Napoleon's army, not the carpenter.
I've been trying to break into his house for days now, but he's always got a fire going, so I can't get down his chimney.
So this guy was the robber.
Could you just fight this one lousy soldier first? He's kind of in the way anyway.
Okay.
Evil on musket rat.
Practice. Where is he?
There we go. Now I move this guy over here.
Cool musket, huh? Oh, wait. Have to reload here.
Die! I kill you!
But how? Retreat! Everyone into the stronghold! Rush the drawbridge immediately! Jam the mechanism with something! Anything!
Hey, you can't jam the gears. That's cheating.
All is fair in love and war. You have fought well, but that's as far as you shall go, my friend.
Ha! We'll see about that. Fred? Was that you?
Yeah, come on, we're winning. All we have to do is unjam those gears.
I'm on it, General.
All right. Oh yeah, I need to get this thing over here.
Charge! Delicious! I haven't had escargot like that since the Duchess's birthday. But even those were not so full of spirit. I am truly inspired. Come, let us storm Napoleon's stronghold and win this game for Fred Bonaparte.
Nice.
But do hurry. I believe I may be hungry again soon.
Of course. So we got our knight here. Alright, so we gotta get back to that stronghold. Let me... Where's that stronghold? Here, I think? Yeah, for sure, Sergey. It's weird, but it's a lot of fun. And I like... Yeah, I really like this level. I like how it's like... You're doing more than just going around whacking stuff. Alright, so let me see how we can get to the other side of this. There we go. Alright, so I think we just go around. Oh, what the heck? What was that? Come on. That's ridiculous. How you fall off the ropes half the time. Okay, so now float over here. Take this rope, that rope. Ah, there we go. Now, cannot get in. I bet. There we go. Just barely made it. Yeah, we did that. We did it. And we have the figment here. Let's grab our hearty knight. If I can figure out how to get big again. Alright. And over here. We did it. We won the game.
Your walls are no thicker than the crust of a creme brulee. Behold the mighty tapping of my spoon.
Man, he's really hungry. We have done it.
What is this?
We have defeated Napoleon.
Did you do this? Huh? What? I can't believe it! You are a Bonaparte! There is some Napoleon in your veins after all.
Well, maybe.
Finally, I can resign myself back into my glorious history. The future is yours, Fred Bonaparte. You are indeed a true warrior. Go forth and fight all your battles with the same determination you showed here, and your life will be an endless parade of victories, like mine.
Yes, well, except for that last one, the one in Waterloo.
I was sick that day. Very bad stomach cramp, let me tell you. That's why I've always got my hand tucked in here, you know? You'll find out when you're older. It's hereditary.
Ah.
Is he really gone? Hello? Hello? Anyone else in here? Ha! We did it, Raz! I'm all me again. One person, not French. Get me out of this dang jacket so I can go strangle me an orderly.
Hey, good thinking, Fred. That sure would save me a lot of work.
Yep. Right after I take a nap.
Yes. What? Nap?
War is hell, Rasputin, and I am sleepy. I'll take care of Crispin for you, just as soon as I...
Wonderful.
Oh, man.
I think we want... Would I rather be French or British? Sergey, that's a tough question. So you need these three things to look like Loboto.
Greetings, Dr. Loboto. Good to see your face. I see you're wearing your favorite jacket. If I may say so, your cloak is looking especially menacing today. Up to the secret laboratory, then, is it? Taking her up yourself this time, eh, Doctor? Less work for me.
Because, you know, both of those are socialist countries, Sergey.
Chief Orderly Bonaparte. You're
armed.
Well, here I am. Up in the tower of an abandoned insane asylum. Wearing a straitjacket, talking to myself. Okay, enough with the disguise. The things I do for Lily's brain. Well, if I'm gonna get to the top of this thing, I'd better start hiking.
All right, Chad, I think we're going to leave it here for today. That was a fun level, but I am getting hungry. And I kind of want to go to Taco Bell again. So, thank you guys so much for coming. It was a great stream as always. Always glad to have you guys around. Thank you again, Slosh, for the tip. Yeah, let's see. So thank you guys for being here. Sergey. We have Fractured. Slosh. Who else is in here? Oh, it's Snap popping by. I think that's everybody I see here. Yeah. Sounds like I could hit the spot. Oh, for sure. I'm in a Demolition Man mood today. Thanks for the stream. Hey, thank you for coming, Fractured. No problem, man. Well, again, I appreciate it, Slosh. Very, very appreciated. Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing, fucker. Before I go, don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Hopefully we'll see you guys again next week, and we might just finish off Psychonauts. Not sure yet. We'll figure it out. Because I kind of really want to get to Crazy Taxi. But we got to finish this. So, I will catch you guys later. Have a wonderful evening. Yep. Later, Sergey. Yeah. Have a wonderful evening, guys. I'll catch you later. And see you soon.